We're live. If you want to hit it with the retweet.
Boom. Put it in the books. The ink is still being put on paper, but we're putting it in the books anyway. Cracking nice cold Coors Light. We're chilling. We're being good. We're having life. We're enjoying life. Celebrating responsibly. 71 words.
Rest in peace, Jimmy Quinn. Died in 9/11. This is the 19th annual Jimmy Quinn season where him and his family usually do an outing to games, but obviously that was not a possibility. So we did a special package with them earlier in the year, and we're all rocking the T-shirts tonight in honor of him and the Quinn family. So shout out to them. And crack your Coors Light because we fucking celebrating, baby. 17-1. What in the fuck am I watching? And literally, what am I watching as we turn 2 to get out of this inning from some fat fucking – oh, they dropped the ball? From some, like, fat nobody who I have never seen before on the mound. I don't know who this little chunker is, but you know that things are either going horrible or going really well when you have a mystery pitcher on the mound. And obviously tonight it's because we're up 17-1.
Yes, I forgot about Erasmo Ramirez. His Mets picture, it looks like the ball is about to hit him in the face. Like if you look at it,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now I know.
So what? Oh, God.
I mean, it's not a good sign. But first of all, he looks like he's 4 feet tall. Second of all, he looks like a position player who's pitching. You know, it's not. He just embodies this game right here, 17-1. All right, so let's get into it. I mean, this is the most enjoyable game. And I'm said I missed half of it because I was doing Friday Night Pints and then driving home. Jake on the mound dealing 9 strikeouts over 6 innings, lowers his ERA to almost Tom Seaver's career ERA as a Met, furthering along his Cy Young campaign. As you know, I know Yu Darvish got knocked around the other day. We just need Bauer and a couple guys to falter, and then on top of that, everybody's hitting. Everybody's raking 17 runs. I'm trying to think. Can you think of a more completely enjoyable game than this? And against a good team, you know, against a great young up and coming team.
No, and like we were saying, like it's the beginning of the stretch, so the stretch is going to be something. It's going to do a lot to our inside and out. Jake on the mound, offense comes. It's a laugher. It's in Buffalo.
2 in a row, right? At least 2. I don't even know what happened in this third most recent start, but Jake actually getting some runs in multiple starts is like, holy shit.
Yep. And we get to see Vladdy Jr., so obviously, like, you even get to enjoy it as a fan, seeing Vladdy Dottie. And I mean, Buffalo. We're all Buffalo. I said, if you're a Barstool person, you just like us. You're a Buffalo fan. If you can't not love Buffalo, right? So I love seeing they lost the fucking ball in the fucking lights. It was awesome. It's a fucking
that foul ball like an inning ago. Like navigating through the dugout, like it's the bullpen, like a AAA stadium. It's just an extra little wrinkle that will be. I mean, I don't know. Is it official if they're doing postseason bubbles? By the way, do we know if that is?
I tweeted out yesterday from Starting 9. They said that. Well, you take it for what it's worth because it was Bob Nightingale, so probably not. But he said that they were finalizing it where they would go down to, like, I think Phoenix for like some of the rounds, and then the World Series would get played at Globe Life in Texas.
I was going to say,
the new ballpark.
The Jays are in the mix, and we're playing playoff games in a AAA field with the bullpen in play and shit. Would be quite wild. Just an update from Mama Clance. Happy birthday to her. She's a 9/11 baby, and happy birthday to Mama Clem. My mom texted me and said, do you think it's safe enough to put Diaz in? So all you sabermetrics nerds can shove it up your fucking ass. Mets fans are still out here wondering if Diaz if a game is Diaz proof when we're up by 16 fucking runs.
By the way, our boy Joe DeMeo was watching that the other day. Yeah, he's like, hey, I was watching. Hey, listen, we like you. He's the two word with Mets fans, trust.
I'll tell you who I fucking hate, Andy Martino. What an absolute asshole. I apologize for missing the post game, so I'm assuming you guys tackled the subject. But finally, the Mets are allowed to wear their first responder hats. I believe the Yankees did as well. Over the past couple of years, it's been a fight that Pete Alonso had led the charge. I mean, this year, I remember last year thinking, next 9/11, they're absolutely going to do it, and it's going to be a big win for Pete and the Mets and us Mets fans. And then I think it became it was a guarantee it was going to happen this year during coronavirus, that it almost, for me, like it was, I assumed it. I took it for granted. So it didn't feel like this big victory that we like got our way, because I was just like, oh, they're going to do it, because if they fucking don't, there'll be a full-blown riot given the circumstances of this year. But Andy Martino, who is this like basically a Jeff Wilpon burner account, who just is always contrarian and always carrying the water for the franchise, and never really aligning with what real Mets fans think, was saying like, this is a slippery slope, because now we're going to have to rank tragedies and what you can and cannot honor with your uniform. And it's like, no. New York and the entire country understands that there's no ranking here. It's 9/11 and like everything else. So just shut the fuck up, Andy Martino. You're the worst.
He covers the Mets and the Yankees for SNY. I'm almost positive he's a Yankee fan, and you could tell when he's writing about the Mets that he just fucking hates his job. And I'm like, just hand it off to somebody else. Just hand it off to anybody else.
Or tell
Bring
me
Mets blog back.
I would have no problem if he just like kind of kept it real and was like, yeah, I'm a Mets hater, like we are. You know what I mean? It's like I'm biased against the Yankees. I don't give a fuck. If he was real about it, it's like Manish Mehta. It's like, just tell me your agenda. You want to get clicks, and that's why you're a fucking troll. But these guys hide behind like being a real journalist, when it's like clearly you are trying to stir the pot, or you have an agenda, or you hate the team. So just fucking own up to it, because you are a dickhead.
Yeah. I always feel like people with us, with Barstool, like, oh, you guys are just being edgy to be edgy or for comedy's sake. It's like, no, we're being normal people. Like Barstool's built on the common man, theory. Sometimes we will have like takes that seem contrarian, but like people always be like, no, but I agree with you. There's a reason why everyone, reads us, listens to us. It's because we are the voice of the people, and everyone agrees. Like this fucking sick, twisted podcast we've created, we're all in the same goddamn sick mindset. We're all the other podcasts, they probably don't really get into it and don't speak the truth. Like, fuck the Wilpons, fuck Andy Martino. And yeah, let's set the bar at 9/11. If another tragedy happens like 9/11, that's a problem, and we should honor that too every fucking day. Jesus.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like, if you really want to go down this road, we could wear a charity hat every single fucking game. I don't give a shit. You want to wear a hat for cancer one day, and diabetes the next day, and 9/11 the next day, and coronavirus the next day, and the list can go on and on. I don't fucking care what hat you wear. Right. It's kind of ridiculous that we wear hats in general as a fucking uniform to play professional sports. This is all silly. So who gives a shit?
They wear a goddamn leather belt, Kevin. They can wear a hat if they want.
It is, and honestly, one of my favorite things in all sports, forever and always, will be that major league managers have to wear the uniform as well. Just looking, like fat old men who are out of shape wearing tight baseball. It just makes no sense.
I mean, that has to be the worst of the four major sports, right? Like the Major League Baseball managers historically have been the least in shape people. Like football has, it's like, football, some guys you have like an Andy Reid, but like those guys are usually in decent shape.
Like Bobby Cox of the world. Guys. Yeah. I mean, think about the rest of sports. If you had to wear, if you had basketball coaches wearing jerseys and shorts, and you had fucking football coaches wearing jerseys. I mean, the whole thing is ridiculous. Also ridiculous is the box score tonight. Oh my God. I'm not going to need any Pornhub tonight. I'm just looking at the box here today. I mean, Dom Smith is so
I love Dom
good.
Smith.
He has 37 RBIs in 38 games right now. His OPS is like 1,100 or something fucking bananas.
I think he's third in the league in RBIs, and he didn't start in the beginning of the season. So he's like only a couple behind Freddie Freeman for the entire league lead. Which is
he got a full slate of getting a full slate of games this season when there's not a full slate is pretty fucking important. But tonight he goes, he went 2 for 5 with 4 RBIs, going Fernando Tatis on him, swinging 3-0, bashing a grand slam to blow the game open. That's my man. Fuck your unwritten rules. Granted, it wasn't as big of a blowout, so no one's giving him heat. But I do love, and let's tack it on. I want 20. Give me 20. Let's fucking go. I want to hang 20 on the fucking Blue Jays Anything is possible. I am creeping out of Consolida, Clem. Don't let me do it. I'm creeping out. I can feel it. Fuck.
I hate to say it. I'm rooting for us to get 2 more runs, but they also get 2 more runs for the 20-3 final score. You know I like my football scores. I know some people don't. I love it. It's opening weekend. You could say it's Jets versus Bills, but it's technically Buffalo instead of
New York versus Buffalo.
Very
Yep.
nice. You need this.
Great dad joke. My dad joke in this situation, I always say, can we save some of those runs for next game? Can we spread them out over the week? Are we going to get –
I tweeted out, I'm talking to my dad. I'm like, they're winning 14-1, and he has like a pissed off reaction, and he goes, how long has he been sitting on the bench? He's cold. They're going to put him back in the game. He's cold. He can't pitch that many innings. I'm like, they don't score enough runs. They score too many runs. He sat for 70 minutes that inning.
Holy
and then he came right out and struck out another 2. Yeah.
Jesus.
70, you said?
70 minutes, they said, yeah. I think there's 23 batters that inning.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was
insane.
up because I was doing Friday Night Pints, and then, like I said, I was driving home.
23,
I was kind of thinking I was going to, like, miss the whole game. And then I get home, and it was, like, the 3rd inning or whatever. I was like, what is going on here? And then I realized the beatdown that was occurring. It's rare. I know it's kind of sad to see. I'm sure I can't imagine too many non-Mets fans watch these, but if you are watching, it's probably sad to watch people go this bananas for a blowout. But it's rare in these parts, okay? And it's certainly rare when Jake's on the mound. Seeing it a couple times in a couple weeks is like seeing fucking Haley's Comet. So Jake must be elated, and also be put to bed like. I remember used to maybe saying like, well, maybe Jake needs it to be a close game to pitch as well as he does, and maybe that's why he's so good. Give him a lead, don't give him a lead. Pitch day, night, doublehead, whatever. He's the fucking GOAT, pitcher of a generation. And I'll tell you what, did you see that graphic I tweeted, Clem, about his velocity?
No, I'm a velocity guy, though. I got to see this. I'm going to pull it up. I love velocity. I love velocity in all walks of life, baseball, science, whatever it is. I love velocity.
Since 2016, Jake's fastball has climbed 5 miles per hour. He went from like 93 to 95, 98.4 or something like that. And I said, listen, if I was a Mets hater, if that was a Yankee, I'd say steroids, no doubt. I'd be like, you're fucking cheating. That's not possible. But given, he had his Tommy John and he had the dead arm early in his career. And so it kind of makes sense, but not really. I mean, that is a staggering increase in velocity. So he's baseball's Benjamin Button, as Kyle said, and he breaks like your brain. Again, still underrated. Still
even Ronnie in the broadcast was like, anybody else, and I'd be saying he's having a great night. He goes, this isn't even close to his best, and he just struck out 9 through 6 with 1 run. I was like, holy shit. And they were arguing on the radio. They were like, oh, I don't know. He's got to have like 3 or 4 more good seasons because he got such a late start to make the Hall of Fame. I'm like, if he wins this year, I don't give a shit if he retires tomorrow. That's it.
You could play 3 seasons, period.
Yeah.
If you go hat trick on him, you get in the Hall of Fame. We talked about this on the show. There's only 2 other pitchers in baseball who've ever done it. It's Maddox and Randy Johnson, who both won 4. But if you are in the elite company of only 3 pitchers in history have done it, you're in, bro. And by the way, I mean, we don't have to worry about it because he's going to have a few more seasons barring like Mets tragedy. Does anybody else feel like Steve Cohen's already having an impact? Like it feels like since the deal finalized, like we're getting the Mets team that we thought we could get. And maybe he's already impacting this team. And so fill me in. I know you guys probably talked about it. What the fuck's going on with A-Rod? What is there any like validity? Is there any worry? Is there any financial precedent for this? What's happening, and does it actually impact the sale?
I don't think so. I think it's all, I mean, based on just everything I'm reading on Twitter too, it sounds like it's all just a bunch of, I mean, like, I think they're probably just throwing things that go out there thinking it's not going to stick. I mean, our boy Soul Cats, the fucking the wooden statue will not allow that to happen. But, like, I think if God forbid something happens, I guess they're just trying to put something together as if it falls through. But again, I feel like it's a little kid who doesn't know.
Is it like Cohen? Like, all right, hypothetically, what if tomorrow someone else joins the group and is like $4 billion? It's too like it has to. Yeah. The Cohen deal has to fall through for them to even be back in the mix, right?
The way I read it, and it's such bullshit, and I said this to Clem in the pregame. So they're showing that they can raise all of this capital with like the Walmart guy joining their group now.
Right.
That they're almost enticing the owners to vote him down in November so that the deal can't go through, and then they could pick it up with them.
Like, shouldn't they have done this, during the bidding process? Or where was Walmart back then? Why not?
Right.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
Just take your L and move on. This is like when you're chasing a girl and like another guy wins and you're still like just let us be. We're in a relationship now. We're dating. We're official. Stop. You're harassing us. I'm gonna get a restraining order. The Mets need a restraining order from J-Rod.
I was saying, you think he's gonna stop at the team? You keep fucking around with Uncle Stevie. He's coming after the whole bloodline. Like he'll just erase you.
Yeah, man. That's not the guy to trifle with.
Somebody's like,
sorry,
Uncle Stevie's going to take Cousin Yuri out of mothballs and be like, oh, all right. And then he's just going to have Uncle Yuri just tell about Alex where he's pissing on his. Like, that's not a guy you trifle with. I'm saying Terry Benedict. I'm saying he's like the Joker. He's just going to burn $250 million like this Walmart guy and be like, that's a fucking message right there. Go fuck yourself. Another $250 million into the pot. Let's keep it rolling. Get these assholes out of my – like, Alex, you do this, man. You have a good life right now. Don't fuck with Steve Collins.
Don't mess up, man.
Can we just talk about the Bob's Discount Furniture tweet that you put out? Because that is insane. That Vital Boy put out, and then you're like, that's 2 Steve Cohens?
I mean, we there's no real confirmation because he's like a man of mystery. But the only thing we found on the internet says that Bob Kaufman, owner of Bob's Discount Furniture, is worth $26 billion. That is banana town. I was like, what's he worth? Like a couple bill? And Fikes was like, oh, no. And I was like, oh, what? Like only a couple million? He's like, no, the other way. I mean, it makes sense because anybody who couldn't afford like a $5,000 couch, everybody went to Bob's in our region at least. So big money. Maybe Bob should buy like the Knicks or something. We could have Cohen own the Mets, Bob Kaufman own the Knicks, and let's just build a fucking New York empire with that furniture money.
I can't believe I'm going to say it, but if A-Rod says he's like teamed up with Bob's furniture guy, I'm going to be fucking terrified. Like that's the fucking checkmate. He has Bob. He has all the money in the world. You could tell me Bob.
But you know what? Then it's okay. Like I love Steve Cohen, but if it's Bob, then we're all good.
Right.
There's plenty of Bob's furniture in the Casa de Clem right now, and I don't understand how he has that money because, like you said, everyone needs that furniture, but it's also like the cheapest furniture. Like you can't find a better price than Bob. He gives you all the candy you want when you go to his stores. There's no way he can make all that. I'm convinced because Bob started looking old the last few years. If you like noticed, he was getting gray. I think he turned himself into a cartoon. I think the guy that's like the claymation is actually Bob now. I think he's still rich. He turned himself into a fucking claymation.
He's achieved some like other. I thought we might have had a home run there trying to get you 20-3. He's achieved some other like level of existence. Yeah. He's probably the type who will freeze his head Walt Disney style. Maybe he can't turn into a cartoon, but he's definitely doing some cryogenic head freezing, no doubt. You know what is a little bit weird is I got to decide between my Mets love and my Yankees hate here because with the Orioles and now the Blue Jays, beating up on these teams directly affect the Yankees. And also I'm thinking my pessimism for the Mets at 3 games, we were like 3 games back of a playoff spot. And the Yankees up, I believe, 2.5 or 3. I'm like, well, if I think the Mets are not going to make it because that's too much to overcome and there's too many teams to jump, I've got to then logically think the Yankees are going to make it because they have the same level of lead. So hopefully I'm wrong on all accounts. Hopefully I'm just an idiot and I don't know what I'm talking about, which has happened many times before. Because if there's a world where we sneak in and they don't, oh, mama. But obviously, it's going to be tough if we're beating up on the Blue Jays for them. So at this point, there's such a mess. You really can't start picking and choosing. It's got to just be win games, pray for the best. And you can't like scoreboard watch all these teams. You got to just play what's in front of you.
At this point, we're just putting it full fucking gas ahead. They got the fucking silver bullet here. Is going to just keep on going. The locomotive. Everyone. That was, of course, like join the love. That's joining the love train.
All over the world. Join hands. All over the love train. I love it. Give me that silver bullet in cold blue mountains.
And like this is the thing. Like every Jake start, I realized this during the game. I mean, it was like 10-1 or whatever, and they had the guy who was like first and second, or second and third, and I was starting to freak out. I'm like, oh my god, his ERA is going to go up by like 0.2, and I was like freaking out that's going to hurt his Cy Young chances. You know what I mean? I was like legitimately.
Listen, Jake is so good. We're already thinking about a third Cy Young, and when I watch his starts, all I want are strikeouts and no runs. Like I know he's not going to give up runs. I know we're not going to like lose because of him. It's always on the offense. But as far as he pitching, I'm not worried about anything other than will he do it? Like I don't even like ground ball outs. I'm like, fuck, because this could have been like let's stack those Ks up so that you'll win the Cy Young. And when there's a chance of a run scoring, like when that dude stopped at third when he could have scored from first, I was like, "Whoa, yes, no runs." And I was like, "Well, he's not going to give that up. You're not getting another hit." Yeah, so we're all good. He's that fucking nasty.
He lowered it by 0.02, so now he's at 167.
I mean, Jesus. God, that is such a fucking low number. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. He's so goddamn good.
The Mets lead tonight was like Mets bullpen proof. It's very rare you get a bullpen lead, but I mean, it would be. And you know what? If they blew this lead, I would almost be impressed. It would be so historic. I'd actually enjoy watching, being like, "Wow, I was there, kids. I was there for the Mets blew a 17-run lead."
Looking at the box score, I mean, obviously we put up 10 in the fourth, so that counts. I'll start there with 10, 2 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth, 1 in the ninth. So that is 10, 12, 13, 14. What do we call them? Not insurance runs, survival runs. We had 14 survival runs, and because Jake was on the mound, we didn't need any of them. We could have won tonight with just a 2 spot, and you put it in the books right there. What happened in the rest of the league, Kyle? As I said, we can't scoreboard watch. I want to do it right now. What's that?
Rest of the league
matter? Oh, I got while we look up the scores. Tough night for our boy Tony Buckets. Didn't look good there.
I mean, I don't like to hate on the guy. He's got a great nickname, and he could have been something special with us. But also, he's been known to chirp back and clap back at me on Twitter here and there every time I bring it up. So listen, Tony, things didn't go so good tonight. It is interesting watching Vladdy Jr. though, by the way, because aside from, ironically, A-Rod, when he was like begging to be on the Mets and we just like wouldn't give it to him because he wanted his own private plane tickets. Aside from that, Vlad was always the number one guy I wanted on the Mets. That was never, I'm sure it was never really a possibility, but there was always the rumor, and he fit, and he like kind of, I was in the talks. He was my number one guy. God, I would have loved. Could you imagine if all those highlights of him throwing people out and fucking swinging that tree trunk, if those were all in a Mets uniform? Oh, and I think that contract really wasn't that big. I remember, right? Like, we should have been able to.
We talked, me and Kyle talked about it. It was always like you thought he was going to be the one. He always killed us. I love that his like legs were like 6 inches different, so he always had that weird like hobble. He had the cannon, no batting glove, swung from his hobble. I love everything about Vlad. He was the coolest guy in the world. His name, Vlad Guerrero, makes no sense on paper.
Yeah. It makes none. And that to me was like watching that hobble was like he's like a pirate with a peg leg. It was like, why? What's wrong with you? Like, how are you a professional athlete? You're like, he looked like he was in pain. You know what he looked like? It looked like one of his legs was like 6 inches shorter than the other. Like he was just walking in a circle. He was hobbling that bad. God, what a fucking legend he was.
Absolute travesty that he didn't go into the Hall of Fame as an Expo. I was shocked when they said that he went in at was Angels. I'm like,
yeah, I mean that's some bullshit, especially for the Expos. Who like that's
in the last one.
That was their last one, you know. So like to not give them that. I'm looking at Jake walk off the mound in the highlights here. Clean cut, which by the way, I remember thinking when he cut his hair, like no. And now I love the clean cut look with the FDNY hat on. It's such a sexy look. It's such an awesome thing that they finally got to do it. And by the way, I referred to the Mike Piazza home run as the most important home run in baseball history, and I got people chirping me, laughing about it. I would challenge you to tell me a more important home run to the entire goddamn country of America. It's the best home run ever. It's the most important home run ever. Sure, there are more like critical in-game home runs that have occurred, but as far as you know, the gravity of the moment, and I don't know if you guys saw Howie's tweet, but he cleared up a mystery of mine that's been eating me. Did you guys know that at all?
I didn't know
see
that.
what it said.
So if you don't, I mean, everybody pretty much knows the home run call by heart. But the 9/11 Mike Piazza home run, Howie Rose said, this one has a chance, even though it hit like the top of the television rafters. That was like a bomb of all bombs. And I remember thinking, like, Howie is such a surgical, like, exact broadcaster. How was he duped that bad on a bomb home run call? And then he cleared it up tonight on Twitter, saying that upper management had told them, let's keep it subdued, let's keep it calm. We don't want you to be too over exuberant. And so he tried to like downplay the home run, and that's why he said that, because he knew off the bat, like a no doubter, which makes it even more impressive, because I feel like announcing is so much of your gut reaction, and he had that gut reaction and had to calm it down and did so, but still also delivered a great call. I mean, he's just the best. He's fucking unbelievable. And that to me is like a 20-year mystery that I never understood, cleared up thanks to Twitter. So Twitter giveth and taketh. It's sometimes the worst place in the world, but tonight it was pretty awesome.
Look, the fucking pandemic got Howie on Twitter and allowed that story to be shared. So
Yeah.
shit, man.
Yep.
It ain't, we're on the way back up, folks.
Shout out to his girl, Alyssa. Alyssa Rose has been doing great recaps with the Rose Report and all of her Mets content. So give her a follow on Twitter. I think she's Alyssa_Rose, I believe. So check her out. She's a true Mets diehard, and she's easy on the eyes. So you definitely want to give her a follow.
Scores from around the league: 4-2 Marlins in the top of the fifth. Nats and Braves are tied.
They're playing the Phillies still?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, Marlins, Phillies. So Marlins are ahead, which they're just going to eat each other because they're both ahead of us. So that really doesn't matter. They kind of cancel each other out.
Right.
Braves, Nationals are tied. Who else did we got here?
What's the Reds doing? They're kind of in the mix, right?
Yeah, Reds are winning. They're beating the Cardinals 3-1, top 8.
Okay.
They have 19. No, the Reds have 19 wins. So do the Cardinals. So maybe they're behind.
They're behind, but they're like there.
I'm fucking bad at math for the percentages. Rockies are in it. 3-2. They're beating the Angels. So
unfortunately, it looks like everybody
not getting any ground.
Yeah. That's the fucking problem. Is like, you can play and win these games, but if you don't get some help once you've dug yourself a hole of that size, I mean, we saw this last year. It was even worse, but it's the hole. It's the multiple teams you got to leapfrog. That's the problem.
And it's a complete mindfuck because, Kyle, like you said, the Reds have 19 wins and they're 19-25. They're playing the Cardinals, who have 19 wins, who are 19-18, because there's a 7-game discrepancy because of fucking coronavirus. So there's going to be all these double headers that are just going to complete. Like, they do the end of the year, like the fan graphs, like everyone moving up and around. There's just going to be teams going like boom, boom, based on like the header weeks that they have.
Which, if you're hot and you're in the race and you're playing double headers, it's almost like a disservice to all the other teams. You got sick, you had to take time off, and now you're getting the advantage of playing shorter games on a time where you're hot. So you can pick up 2 wins in a night, and then it's a wrap.
You could also make the argument, though, that like having even with shorter games, having to play 2 in one night is actually, you got to worry about your bullpen and all that shit. But these 7-inning games are, they are. It's like you usually worry about your bullpen, but you don't really have to use your bullpen. So that is a good point, though. If you're set up in such a way that you can handle the doubleheaders, you actually do have an advantage. That's interesting. So what's the situation with our doubleheaders? Do we have them coming up? We have
on the schedule. It looks like we're done.
So we got Saturday, Sunday, off day Monday, and then I think from there on out we rock and roll, right?
Whole season till the 27th.
Oh, mama, and we'll be there every step of the way. Quickies pregame and postgame every night that there is a Mets game. Regular episodes on Thursdays. I did speak to my mom, and she has said she will be on the podcast this week. And we will see what happens, because she wanted to come on to talk shit, but then we lost a couple games, and she was like, maybe you're right. And then we win a couple games, and she says, no, I was right. So who knows what could happen by Thursday of next week. Who knows who's going to be gloating or arguing or fighting. It's going to be a trip.
She wanted to talk shit. I love it. Your mom is fucking Clancy. She's the Clancy. When it comes back, she wasn't born a Clancy. She is the Clancy. She's absorbed all the Clanciness. She's the Clancy.
Peak Clancy, man. All right, so we'll wrap it up here. And shout out to Michael Conforto, by the way. I was not watching the game, and I looked at Twitter and I saw his mom pop up there, and I was like, I know what that means, baby. So him
People are
and
telling me that's what they find out. It makes me so happy. You have no idea that people like they've seen. They're like, oh, before they hit upon I got to turn on the game now. It makes me so happy to myself. I didn't know this coming 5 years ago. And 2-0. We're 2-0 thanks to Coors Light. It's truly the beer of the fucking Mets, the beer of the fucking run right now.
We need it. We love it. And if they go on a run during the Coors Light campaign, that will be a special beer for the rest of my life. So we'll be back tomorrow night. Is it what time? What is it? Another weird start?
6:37 again.
All right. So we'll be back on the earlier side again tomorrow night. And I think I do believe.
Gotta believe in these fucking guys. Gotta believe.